Welcome back to another episode of Treknicity, the show where we talk about everything to do with Star Trek. I am your host, Lars.
And I'm your other host, Brandon.
And joining us for this very cool episode is an old friend of mine, fellow Star Trek nerd, and Season 3 special guest host, Andre.
Hello, hello.
What up, Andre?
We are a threesome this evening. This is awesome. So in this episode, we are covering Picard Season 2 episode Seeks. And there's a lot to unpack in this episode. It actually passed a lot faster than I expected. So I was sitting there like watching it and eating my dinner and, kind of just going over it. And I'm like, oh yeah, make a note here, make a note there, make a note there. Like, man, there's a lot going on. And then suddenly, poof, I'm like, okay, it's done. Gotta go. So
it was actually the shortest episode of the season too. I think at 38 minutes. So of all of the episodes that released so far, it's the shortest one.
Which, all the things that went on, that's probably pretty understandable. But still, that is not necessarily a bad thing, because as we both know, as we both know, I'm talking with like I'm only two people here, and then we are quite clearly know that there are multiple personalities in my head. We all, we're all used to, grew up with the 45 minute runtime because of commercials and all that stuff like that. We don't have that anymore, so they kind of go willy nilly on
now they can just do what they want.
Yeah, they just make it however they want. So unless you're paying attention to what's going on, and like when you actually hit the button and see the length of the episode, you're kind of like, oh wow, it's done. Okay, well, let's move on then. So let's start off. Okay, since Andre, since you are our special guest host tonight, let's start off with you. What are your your initial thoughts on the episode? Like, as a whole, what are your initial feelings on it?
I think it was good pacing. I think it kind of harkened me back to some of those heist movies like Ocean's 11, to where you have to infiltrate the compound and then go in and get a mission done. So I just think the chemistry between the cast is really shining, and the plot is moved forward really well. It just left me like aching to see more. So overall, I think it was another good installment in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how I feel. It's like a heist show. It's like,
exactly,
what are they trying to steal? But they're not really stealing. They're trying to steer someone.
Yep.
I first of all, I'm tongue tied, but I enjoyed the episode. I did get that sort of heist crew feel to it. That when before I do that, I always forget to do this, and Brandon catches me.
Spoilers.
If you haven't watched this episode, turn away now. Abandon hope, all you enter this episode, because we are going to spoiler the hell out of the thing. It is spoilerific. And so we have this whole thing like when they're trying to sneak into this gala, and Gerardi's already been picked up and held, in the surveillance room. I just wanted her once to go, I'm in. Like to do the hacker voice, I'm in. But no.
Right?
I have to say, overall, again, very enjoyable. The vibe of it is good. I feel like they are starting to drag their feet a little bit. Like they pulled this little bit in with Adam Sung last episode. Brent Spiner with his daughter, and we knew he was up to some shady stuff with genetics and eugenics, and technically, if you want to follow the timeline that's canon, the eugenics wars technically should have already happened and been like long gone, but there's no sign of that. So I don't know what they're going to do with it, but they are they're teasing us with the word eugenics. Because we know that the Sung line starts with genetics, goes through to the augments, and then at some point the Sung guys learn the error of their ways and go on to cybernetics and then positronics and stuff like that. So, so they did bring us a little bit there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
I think those Soongs have some strong genes, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, all of the Soongs, all the way up to the latest Soong, they all look similar. And I think it would be so funny if they had some kind of tie-in to where, like, Adam Soong from the 21st century had something to do with that. Like, that's my head
like,
canon.
Yeah.
Like maybe he put some sort of clone gene in his genes.
Yeah, and manipulates
every ancestor after him has to look like him.
Exactly. It's some dominant gene that he introduces into the mix that he's got to all look like Brent Spiner.
That would be actually awesome. That would explain a lot.
Yeah.
That would explain tons and why they all look alike. And I think that the way they're handling Adam Soong is actually a perfect setup for the Arik Soong in Enterprise, because he was a crazy geneticist kind of obsessed with like hatching the embryos from the eugenics wars. And I saw something on Twitter from the directors about how they wanted to weave in the eugenics wars. And there's a couple theories on that. They may address it, but I think they wanted to either say it already happened, or that since this was possibly a time, like Q is mucking with the timeline, maybe there's going to be more that's ahead. So I'm hoping we get some tie-ins for that for sure.
I definitely want to see some more tie-ins with those past events. One thing that they threw in there last episode, I want to say it was last episode, maybe the one before. It was a kind of a throwaway line from Picard, but it I guess gives them a little bit of an out, and it explains a whole lot. And Picard says that the records from that time were very, very spotty.
That's it.
And I mean, they know that we know from the episode Space Seed that in 1992, I think it is, that the eugenics wars starts, and we had the likes of Khan and his lot. That war rages on for like 4 years. In like 96, they get exiled off the planet. So at this point in Star Trek canon, that should have already happened, and they are hasta la vista. But it doesn't seem like it, because you would think that there would be, especially when they're dressing down Adam Soong for his mucking with genetics, you would be like, if you really wanted to tie that in, it would have been super easy to say, did we not learn from the mistakes, from our previous generation, from the last generation? We're still dealing with the fallout of that. But no, it was kind of like...
And how little they're already in space. Like, they're just going to Europa. Like, if Khan was already there, they would have had way more technology about space and traveling through space and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, and Lars, you brought up a really good point about the records being spotty. One of the things they did say on Twitter, and I'll try to send you the exact link that I saw, is that Spock could have been a little off in his estimation as to when Khan left. It could have been 20 or 30 years ahead into the time that we're in now. So I am just all ears and all eyes for any tie-ins to eugenics wars, and also what's happening with Soong's daughter. Like, what is she?
Now it's like, is she like a year old? Is she just like a few months old?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could tell. It's a dead giveaway that she's a clone.
Right.
Because she's like, why do I do not have these memories? Why do I remember this picture? It's because you were a clone. That's why. Do I have to spell it out for you, sweetheart?
Every season they got to come up with some way that she doesn't like realize like who she is, or remember last season didn't realize she was an android. This season she doesn't realize she's a clone.
That's season, really funny.
She just get really mad, like
she's actually an alien.
Yeah, she just gets really mad, like, what are you guys hiding from me? Why do you keep hiding this stuff from me? What am I?
What am I this season?
Exactly. Yes. Somebody just give me the pages. I won't tell anybody. I swear. I'm just tired of figuring it out last minute.
Man.
But the thing is that what's really good is, okay,
it's good though. I like it.
You have a lot of great actors being thrust into a couple of different situations, especially a huge fish out of water sort of situation. And that does allow for a lot of great character development, and it, believe it or not, where they succeeded in this season, Discovery has been failing for 4 seasons, and I'm not gonna bag Discovery. Okay, I promise I'll leave them alone this episode. But the one thing that is very vital to making a successful series of any kind is that you have to have characters that are not only relatable to you, the viewers, but also relatable to themselves. And this whole thing, I feel like they shoehorn a lot of the stuff. Like, most of the characters that we should be focusing on are background characters until this flashpoint moment where they've got to pull into the front, shine really brightly, and then gone. Or they go back out to the background. But with and Picard season 1 was guilty of that as well. You're like, they relied so heavily on our love and affection for characters like Jean-Luc Picard, Data, Riker, Troy, and of course Seven. We're like, it's the nostalgia thing. They're gonna love it because it's nostalgia. We're all like, why do these people care about each other? There's, send Rafi back out to her double wide out in at Vasquez Rocks. Who cares? This season, to me, a lot better. I feel like they are really taking those time to get that slice of life stuff and show the vulnerability of these characters. You see that Rafi and Seven are navigating a very turbulent water of being, what are they? Are they friends? Are they colleagues? Are they lovers? Are they all of them? None of them? What are they? But you can't tell, but you want to know more. Same thing.
The characters are shining, just like you said, like 7 of 9. Like, she doesn't have her implants anymore, and now she's discovering what it is to actually be a human, since she's never had that in her life.
And nothing feels forced at all. Like, all of the character interactions feel very natural. There aren't kind of any imposed emotional moments or like long pep talks during crises. That would probably be my main criticism of Discovery this season. I love the ship, God bless her, but still, I think that this casting feels very close. Like, the chemistry in the writing is very evident, and that makes you care about the characters.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was going to mention a little bit of the tongue-in-cheek stuff with Rios and the Doctor, and doing the whole Star Trek 4 thing, and these are nice little things. They're just like or I see that, I see what you did. All right, off you go. And it's great. It makes you feel like, okay, they get it. They understand what I want to see. They understand the story I want to feel, I want to experience. And so we come back to it. You've got a nice little dichotomy between those two characters. You have the whole thing with Picard and his struggling with how he feels for Laris, and then having to deal with this Gary Seven style version of her. Because he's like, he's got all this stuff like going on inside of him. He's doing the flashback thing to his mother and his rough upbringing, and then he's like, well, the one thing I had back at Chateau Picard is Laris, because she was always there, and now he's developing feelings for her, and he has to separate himself from that to be able to deal with this agent. But at the same time, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could be attracted to somebody and then like meet their twin who knows nothing about the other person or something.
Do you think that Laris and Talon are the same person? I have a suspicion that Talon is there in the future to watch Picard. Like, I just have a feeling. I don't know. It's interesting to see if they're going to be the same person, or she just assumed Laris's form.
I would be disappointed if it was just her assuming Laris's form. I would be happy.
Yeah, because it's a little weird.
Yeah, I would feel a lot more comfortable with your first suggestion, that being she's a watcher all the way into the future, and she changes
watches the Picards.
Yeah, and she watches. She watches Picard's period.
Watch the Picard line.
You know.
Yeah.
Yep, she's watched the Picard line, and that's why Laris is still there, and kind of watching over him in this pivotal moment now too. So
and then maybe in the future with the Picard, she couldn't no longer watch. She had to be involved with him.
Yep. Maybe because she knew what was coming with Q. Golly, what's going on with him? He's really, something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
We didn't see him in this episode.
Yep.
He wasn't even in this one.
Yep.
Wasn't he there?
Yeah, I was missing my cue.
Can we talk about Alice Gerardi though? Like, oh my God, I love her. She's one of my favorite characters, but she is horrifying existentially, because first season, like, she got, the mind meld, and she had that craziness inside of her. So she kills the cyberneticist, whose name is, I'm forgetting right now. Kills him.
Bruce Maddox.
In the first season. Yeah, Bruce Maddox dies. And then second season now, she's got a Borg queen in her head. And when those good endorphins came, please, if you have not watched the episode, please just stop. Spoilers. Like, now she's got a Borg queen in her head, and she's that wild card again. Like, what's Alice gonna do this season? But it's actually still horrifying.
Well, look, okay, so we had this moment where she interrupts the whole gala thing because we got to have an interruption, and then which
is great.
Yeah. But then she starts belting out, Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night. I'm like, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. Loved her voice. She sang really great.
Was that really her? Was that her singing it?
I'm pretty sure it is, because it sounds like her.
Because it was really good. If it was her, it's really good.
Exactly.
But it's kind of like, it was almost like a right field kind of thing. Like really, that's what you went with? I mean, you what, did you really want a postmodern jukebox moment for Picard? If you did, all right. I mean, it served the story, so it was not really bagging on it. It was just kind of a, huh?
That's kind of like how our character's kind of been all season.
Yeah. But like you said,
season, and you never know what you're gonna get. I'm telling you, it could be absolutely horrifying.
She's literally a wild card.
Yeah.
Dr. Gerardi's like a box of chocolates.
Never know what you're going to get.
That's right.
But yeah, this season she's been amazing this season. Last season, not so much. This season, I love every scene with her.
Oh, she steals it. Her comedy in the first two episodes was insanely good. And then this one, the trap that the Borg Queen sprung by saying, oh yeah, those are the endorphins I needed. And even Alice was like, oh no. Like, she knew. Like,
oh no.
Here it goes. Yep.
You just, all you suddenly hear is whoop, 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 whoop. There goes the Borg Queen.
Death. Right.
Overall, we see some really good interactions between characters. Very little crossover. I mean, there's the part where Rios comes and finds Gerardi and like, hey man, why aren't you answering your phone? Like, oh, I must have turned it off. Oh, sure I did.
Yeah.
But again, we moved to like, we're kind of bouncing around. This is what I do with all these freaking episodes. I just kind of I just reach into the grab bag and pull out whatever I feel like, and we just hit on it. But the other thing is like where Picard talks to the other Picard, and it bothers me that I've forgotten her name again. I forgot it last episode. Renee, thank you.
That's his nephew's.
That's the same name for your nephew.
That passed away.
Right.
So that name passed on through the
line.
I
totally I didn't even realize that until now.
Yep. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and so he realizes, like, I mean, with Talon's help, he realizes that she's on the tipping, on the knife's edge of not going on this thing and it causing the event. So he goes to have a chat to her. Yeah. You know, one thing you mentioned, Andre, is that one of the things that can hurt these episodes is that coming to Jesus moment. It's the, you know, it's the fourth quarter. We're down to our last few seconds, and we're yards away from the you know, the goal line, and we got to do this. We got to get in there and win. Come on, you know. And it has that pep talk moment, and I thought, this time, not feeling that. I actually felt like a very genuine moment between these two characters, which has been rough because for a few episodes I've been feeling like Picard has devolved into the "I'm old man Picard, and I'm sad."
Yeah.
He can do no wrong for me. I just love every moment I see him in, and I know
feeble.
You can tell he's kind of transitioned to the more like senior type of like, but I love it for him. I just whenever somebody like comes for him, like when they're mad at him, I'm like, be nice.
I want the angry Picard from back at TNG when he would just start yelling at people.
Yeah, I want the
Now
first
he's-
contact Picard where, you know, I must stop here. No father. You know, like
No father.
you know, like, and now he's like, whatever, let's just do what we gotta do to get this over with. All right, let's go. And I mean, look,
I got some advice for you.
yeah, I love Sir Pat. I mean, the guy could steal my wife, and I would thank him. Okay. So I'm not bagging on.
He's the sweetest person.
Yeah, I'm not bagging on Sir Patrick Stewart at all. Love him, love him, love him, love the Picard character. I just feel like they toned
him down a little.
I think they feel like they're doing him a little bit of a disservice by turning him into this sort of mellowed wise man kind of person. I mean, hopefully as we all get older, we get wiser and we learn things about life that we accept and we can pass on to those around us. But this is Jean-Luc Picard. This guy doesn't take shit from anybody. He doesn't take shit from an omnipotent being. And here he's kind of like, I'm mad at you, Q. What are you doing to mess with these things? Damn it! Like,
oh, you bumped me on the nose.
Yeah. Well, come on, dude. Like, man, pull out a phaser and like pistol whip him or something. I don't know. Do something. But that's what I miss. I just miss that aspect of the character. I love the wizened old man element, but I want him to find his groove again.
This episode, I do think it worked when he was talking with Renee, because I feel like that was where they were able to truly connect, and it felt authentic and genuine. And that's kind of how I look at. I don't mind the like wiser, more mellow Picard this season, because I feel like he's kind of been through it all, and like now he's just like, it's gonna happen. Like things are gonna happen. It's gonna work out. Like I would like to see what they do more with him this season, but for this moment in this episode, I loved it.
Yeah, for sure. It was like the old Picard when he gives his other people advice when they come to him. It was
think about back in TNG when Wesley, when he has to talk with Wesley, and he's like, he has to tell him, you know, it's possible to do everything right and still lose and still not win.
Yep.
That's great. And again, that sagely advice part of him is good. And we did see that.
Yep.
But, you know, I just kind of feel like the writers, when they're doing this, they're giving us the Mounds version of Jean-Luc Picard. And damn it, I want the Omen Joy. And yes, that is a reference to nuts. I want that bitiness to him. I want him.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully, you know, we see a little bit more of that come out, because, you know, obviously, it's like, how can I best describe it? It's like watching a movie where you know that there are like 5 sequels, and you know that those characters are there in the 5th sequel. So you're not like, well, I think they're going to just be fine because I already know he's going to be down here. But I still think that there's a way for them to pull it back. I mean, I'm still watching it. I'm still loving it. So I don't want people thinking that I don't like the series. Despite the fact that the first series actually made me rage quit the then CBS All Access service, I am thoroughly enjoying it. I just want to see a little more spice.
What about the epic Star Trek references in it from canon, like the Nomad probe that's hanging there, and then the Jackson Roy Kirk Institute? I mean, I am a stickler for like those kinds of nuggets, and then good placement, and I was just like, that part of me was just screaming in joy when I saw it.
Oh yes. I would have to say that the little Easter eggs that they're giving us.
Oh, I love the Easter eggs.
Are they're sorry for the pun, they're cracking good.
Yeah.
So just general thoughts. Where do you guys see them rolling from here? Do you think we're going a lot darker than anticipated, or do you think that they're kind of trying to polish things enough to prep for the inevitable TNG reunion of season 3?
I'll let you go first.
Okay.
And go.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that when they hit Picard, when Soong hit Picard with that Tesla, my soul cried. That's the darkest I think it's been this season, and I am kind of enjoying seeing the darker side of Soong that kind of evolves here as a result of it. But I'm really excited. I'm still very interested in where the story's going, and there's still a lot of questions that I have. But things are evolving at a decent pace. By the end of the episode, I was like, "Oh my God, what happens next?"
Yeah.
So I want to find out what's going on with Q, because I think he hasn't always been. While it looks like he's the villain, he's really done Picard a lot of favors, in kind of a chaotic good way, like introducing the Federation to the Borg and kind of checking the hubris. And then this episode, he intervened right when Picard blew up the Stargazer, or in the beginning of the season. So I wonder if is Q, what's he getting at? Why is he doing this? It's usually for purpose. I don't think it's just to be malevolent. And that's
always a lesson. Yeah, it's always exactly. He's always trying to teach Picard a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it's too dark. It's been like you said, it's been pacing at a natural way. It's got a natural flow to it, and it's been super entertaining. This season has just been after every episode, I'm just I need to find out what happens next. God, it's such a cliffhanger.
Exactly.
These ones are major cliffhangers this season, and it's I'm so hungry for more.
Same.
The overall vibe for me is that they are still continuing down that darker path. My wife, God knows I love her, she says to me, "How did he manage to run him over with that Tesla?" Aren't those things supposed to stop? I'm like, shut up. I was like, I'll tell you what. Why don't
he disabled the feature? He hacked into it.
Yeah, I guess so. I was thinking maybe is this the whole thing where if somebody steals your Tesla, does it become an Edison? I mean, is it kind of a rhetorical question? I don't know. I don't know how he managed to hit him with a Tesla, but the thing is, he did. And then they're like, "Oh no, he's okay. Everything's working fine." And she's like, "How's that? He just got hit by a car, probably going 20 miles an hour." And I go, "Were you not paying attention?" I mean, I hated the last season, but I paid attention. He's a robot.
I was gonna say he's got a cybernetic body.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still getting over the whole thing where they decided to give him the same body, the same look, But hey, whatever,
He's a synthetic.
Still kills me.
I was kind of hoping that they would give him make a younger version of him and give him 50 years back, and then maybe have figure out how to put in Patrick Stewart in other ways. But I get that. Why they did
I can imagine the cost of de-aging Patrick Stewart for every episode. Holy cow!
Or just have I would have, if it were me, I would have just had him like the syndrome just progress through the 3 seasons, and then in the last part of season 3, kill him, and then have him go into an android body, and then bring in a new actor that can play Picard, so he's around.
Yeah,
you know,
Hardy.
I thought that was so unnecessary to give him that android body. They could have just been like, "Oh, we can heal you. We have the technology. We're androids."
Yep.
Yeah.
Or we can cure your brain.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you can never always figure out what the writers are thinking when they sit down and write this stuff. You know, it's okay. So I am obviously excited to see where they progress, because I mean, we're about at the halfway mark for the season.
I think a little past, yeah.
And what are they doing for season 2? Is it 10 episodes or is it 12? But no,
I'm not sure.
That's okay. I'm sure we'll figure it out after we get off the episode. But the whole thing is they're about at the halfway mark. So, you know, now we're getting down to the rat killing. We're getting down to the business end of this whole storyline for this season. So we'll start seeing things unfold a lot more quickly, a lot more comprehensively. We'll see characters fleshed out enough so that they can finish out the season however they're going to finish out. And that being said, very happy to see where it goes. On a slightly separate note, am very excited to see what happens with Strange New Worlds, with them adopting the episodic format. You know, the planet/alien of the week format, as they used to call it. And, you know, because, like, we've seen these whole things, we've seen it time and time again, where they do this season-long story arc, and it almost never works out properly, because you look at what's happened with 4 seasons of Discovery. While there was so many opportunities to tell amazing, multifaceted stories, they basically picked one disaster at the beginning and played it out to the end. And then wash, rinse, repeat. They do it again and again and again. We saw it with season 3 of Enterprise with the whole Xindi arc. You know, with a few exceptions, it was basically an entire season-long story arc, and you can run into franchise fatigue with that, because you're like, all right, I understand, let's go, come on, just figure it out, guys. I don't have the patience for this anymore. So I want to see what happens when they do properly return to the episodic format and give us some true new adventures to sink our teeth into.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, any final thoughts? We'll, where things have gone, where things are going. Brandon, we'll start with you this time.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm loving this season. I think it's amazing. I'm just excited for each new episode. Find out where all the characters, what's going to happen to them.
Okay.
And the Borg Queen, I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah,
I love the actress, man. She's
great.
So great.
Yes, she is.
Yep.
Yeah.
They picked a real winner to do the Borg Queen.
Yeah.
All right, Andre, what about you? Final thoughts?
I think it's just an epic story, and I really look forward to the conclusion of this story. And I love the casting. I think that this group is very close-knit. The characters are close-knit and on and off screen, like you can always tell a good vibe. So I just look forward to really wrapping up the story, the piece with Q, and tying that in, and more starships, lots more starships. I mean, when that fleet, we saw that fleet in the second episode, first episode, oh man, loved it.
Oh my goodness, yes. I can't agree with you guys more. I definitely can't agree with you guys any more than that. There's one element to it that's in the back of my mind, which does concern me a little bit, and this is just a personal feeling, is that they've announced that season 3 is going to be basically one big TNG reunion, with the exception at this point of Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton. And why are you saying it like that? Sorry, just a tangent.
It's a Family Guy joke.
But the thing is, what does concern me just a little bit is, like, I feel like this is, like, I don't know if you guys feel this way like I do, but like when I watch Star Trek 6 and they play the end credit music and you're seeing the signatures of all the cast, and you know that this is the last time we're going to see the original crew of the Enterprise sail together, and it's done. It doesn't matter what they do next, it's done. I mean, like, yes, you brought William Shatner back for Generations. You had Scotty and Chekhov there for a little bit, just to make a little appearance, a cameo there. But when it was done, with the end of Star Trek 6, it was done. You knew it. You felt that bittersweetness that it was over, like something that had started before any of us were born was now finally coming to an end. And that's what worries me, is that this is what they're going to do with Picard season 3, with him bringing everybody together. This is going to be the sweet goodbye for everybody, and that just makes me feel a little bit, a little uneasy.
Here's why I think I'm okay with it. Because I did not like the send-off they got in Nemesis. Actually, I hated it. And, like, when Data died, and like it would just, everybody was just, including all the actors, and I felt like the writing didn't really give them the proper send-off that they were supposed to get. So the fact that I think they're bringing back all of the cast, I'm thrilled, and I really hope, with good writers in the room, that they can do all the characters justice. Plus, we don't know what happened to the Enterprise E, and I have a feeling that we're going to see one of them, either the E or F. We're going to see it. I have this feeling. It's in my gut. If they're bringing back the whole cast, I think the real special guest is going to be the E.
They got to bring back the Enterprise, yeah. Especially if they're bringing everyone back, the Enterprise is a character too.
Yep. I think she's a special guest they haven't mentioned yet. I just have a gut feeling, and I want to see them all on board, happy. I have a feeling, if we're predicting, I think it's going to be Worf, maybe as captain, or the E was destroyed or something, and there's an F. But yeah, I want them back. They need a good send off.
No, that's fair enough. I agree that giving them a proper goodbye is warranted. I just don't want to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you
understand.
You had the privilege of kind of hanging out and working with Marina Sirtis when you were doing the work with Scotty Baker on Fifth Passenger, right? And I remember you telling me, like, the little story, and I won't go into it here because just no need for it. But yeah. But at the same time, I when you told that story, I felt it. I felt that story, because it was like, when I think of Marina Sirtis, I don't think of how she is now. I think of how she was back then. Even back as far, even as recent as the First Contact version of Deanna Troi. And that's not to say that, that I think that in any way, shape, or form she is less of a person, less of an actress, or has lost any step in it. It's just that, that's my vision of her. So now that we have to say goodbye, I have to accept the fact that people get older and people move on, and life moves on. It's an unfortunate reality that I'm not looking forward too much to facing.
And if you think about it, that show was 35 years ago. Like, it doesn't feel like it to me. Every time somebody says, like, I think it's 35 to do the math, but like, it's a while. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, that show.
It was 87 when it premiered.
It's still new to me in my head, but then I'm going back and looking at it, like, I can really see it aging now. Like, it's still clicking in that it's been 30 plus years. Yep, since 87. I was 6 then, so crazy.
You were just a pup.
Long time.
Yep.
I was a spry young teenager. But
I was 9.
Nice.
But that's the thing. Okay. I'll end on what I hope is a very positive note on my end. Despite the feelings of anxiety, of fear, of whatever, of not wanting to let go, one thing I am absolutely certain of, no matter what story they write for season 3 of Picard, the very fact that they have these people back together, they could be spinning plates on sticks or playing hot potato for a season, and I'm pretty sure it will be pretty kick-ass.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, so
completely. For sure.
All right. So on that note, that is all the time we have for this episode of Treknicity. I want to thank Andre for joining us, and I hope that he will do so many, many, many more times coming into the future.
Definitely.
We will. We love talking to you. It has been far too long, my friend, since we've seen each other, so we'll be remedying that very soon. That being said, please remember to check us out. We do this pretty much on Thursday evenings at around 9 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to follow us on social media, you can go to redshirtgeeks.tv. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at redshirtgeeks, and also our specific one, as you can see down there, at Treknicity.
And don't forget MySpace.
MySpace. AOL. Or we have a GeoCities website. That's
CompuServe.
Oh! You had to throw the CompuServe in there. I still remember that my first CompuServe email address was a number. Alrighty, awesome, folks. Well, thank you again very much for watching. I'm Lars.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Andre.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks to everybody who watched us, and we will see you next time. And remember, as always, rock out with your Spock out. Have fun, folks. Bye now.